Ooh, Siberia's strangest unsolved mystery from Nexpo? Hold on, hold on. This might be kind of cooking.
On August 5th, 1993, 7 hikers set out to the Kamar Daban mountain range. All but one would make it out alive. Yet to this day, the circumstances surrounding this incident remain as one of the strangest mysteries in history. What happened on this mountain? Where is everyone? And why is the Kamar Daban incident so incredibly unsettling?
Can I take a guess? I'm gonna shoot it in the dark. I'm gonna take a quick guess. I say, it's disturbing because hikers go up there, they get lost, and if they're in company, they're starving, so they either die or eat each other. That's why. Good guess or no? No? All right.
Tonight's video is
Hello,
sponsored
Nutter.
by...
Oh, sorry.
Guys, I am so excited.
Oh, okay.
Today is the...
He got me. I was ready to skip.
day where I get to show you something that I have been working on for months. Welcome
Okay,
to Late
Nexpo.
Nights with Nexpo, my brand new
Ooh.
podcast that launches today on all podcast platforms, with new episodes dropping not
Okay.
every month, not every 2 months, but every single week.
Chad, okay. Am I the only one that actually does listen to podcasts? Like, I know that there's slop, right? But like the yard or fucking lemonade stand, I don't know. It's like, I don't actively understand what the fuck they're talking about at all times. I just kind of put it in the background while I'm doing stuff. I just listen to music more. That's fair. Don't really listen to podcasts. Yeah, no, like, I don't think I have that many friends that do. But like, compared to the market, like the market for podcasts is huge, no?
To celebrate the occasion, myself, with the help of my team at Ballin Studios, have gone ahead and animated this launch episode to give you something to chew on tonight. So if you end up liking it, let me know in the comments, and we may end up doing more of these in the future. Before we get started, think of these like campfire stories, something to throw on and let your mind escape. For a while now, I've been wanting to bring you guys something more casual, less intensive, and more frequent while I crack away at the big boy uploads. And I think bringing you guys podcast episodes every single week is the perfect way to do that. Before we get started, I'd like to stress that none of anything about this podcast replaces anything that you know and love about my channel. This is merely something extra for you guys to chew on. Without further ado, welcome, my friends.
Oh my god, imagine like instead of doing super serious stories and like really well done documentaries or like talks about these kind of stories, he's like the lost media of the SpongeBob episode and the ones that got traumatized by it.
To Late Nights with Nexpo. Siberia, August 1993.
I would look at that.
The river
Yeah, same.
is freezing cold. Snow melts from the Kamar Daban mountain range, which looms overhead. Your kayak cuts through the water. You take in the fresh mountain air and the rugged landscape. It's a long overdue escape from the city. Out here, the only signs of civilization are power lines running over the mountains, which are easy enough to ignore. But out of nowhere, something catches your eye, and the peaceful atmosphere dissolves. There's someone standing on the far shore of the river, framed starkly against the trees. It's a teenage girl. She's waving her arms frantically.
Your Arthur is
Screaming.
chewing. Yeah, I know, right? Okay. Okay. Low-key, quick rant. Nothing to do with the video. But I'm so used to the model being so stiff rigging wise. And like now that I have V-Bridger, little like mouth movements, they pick it up. It's so fucking creepy. It's like I'm chewing and it shows it. Or like when I pog, it's like, you know?
For
Sorry,
you to stop.
anyways.
From this distance, you can't quite make it out, but it looks almost like her jacket is stained with blood. You don't hesitate. You dive into the frigid water and swim to shore. And when you reach the girl, she collapses into your arms. She's delirious, inconsolable. You can barely make out half of what she's saying through her sobs. She says she's scared, that she's all alone. You wonder why this girl's out in the wild by herself. But what she says next answers your
Plane
question.
crash survivor, maybe?
It makes your blood run as cold as the river. Everyone else is dead.
Hold. Did I fucking call it? Did they go on a hike and then got lost and they were starving, so they started killing each other? Hold on. Am I gonna max win on my parlay? I need a max win, come on. God, Nexpo's production is so
A
fucking
week
cool.
earlier, August 2nd, 1993. Two hiking groups from Kazakhstan climb up a steep trail, away from the nearest town.
Need I say more? I did not pre-watch it, but need I say more?
They're heading into the wilds of southern Siberia's Kamar-Daban mountain range. They're a school-sponsored hiking expedition, mostly in their teens and early 20s. One group is led by a man named Konstantin Kazantsev. The other is led by Lyudmila Korovina, an experienced hiker who has traveled these mountains before and who also happens to be the mother of one of Konstantin's student hikers. Lyudmila's group will be taking a high-altitude route across the mountain range before descending back down towards civilization. On the map, their route follows a rough arc across the mountains and back to a small lake called Lake Padavoy. They have 2 tents and will camp along the 40-kilometer route. While Lyudmila's group takes the summit, Konstantin will guide his group along a lower altitude valley route following the river. Despite the lower elevation,
Okay, I just want to say though, if I was a parent, there is no fucking way I'm letting my kid go to a high school sponsored hike. Like, no way, right? Especially if I know that my kid has no experience in outdoors, right? Like, hikes are not a joke. I mean, maybe like a German hike, right? Where it's like a slow, steep, kind of straight road that you just walk in one direction, and when you want to go back, you do a 180, right? Then maybe, right? But like a full-on hike through forests and like dangerous steeps while my kid never goes fucking outside, hell no. Hell no. What the hell? Yeah, that does sound too fucking dangerous for like a high schooler level. Like, make them go on a picnic or something. I don't know. A hike through civilization is okay. I'm not sending them through Mount Ever hikes. Fair enough. That was 1993 though. Ooh, good point. Good point. To be fair, yeah, no. In 1993, if you get lost in a fucking hike, you're kind of dead. Like, there's no way you're making it out alive. No phone, no nothing. If you go to the police, help, my kid is lost in a forest. They're like, well, GG, go next.
Konstantin's group's route is technically the more difficult of the two. The difficulty of the Russian alpine routes are measured on a scale of 1 to 6, with 1 being a beginner slope and 6 being near vertical, only to be attempted by experts. Lyudmila's route is rated a 3, which makes it a moderately difficult slope, around 35 to 45 degrees.
Hey, now, it wasn't the dark ages in the 90s? Okay, let me put this question. In what period of age, right? In what era was every single fucking, like spree killer like serial killers alive by. When did those happen? How did they get away with it? Right? Fucking Dahmer just like drags and drugs a gay guy from a bar to his apartment and like cuts meat in his apartment. The whole neighborhood smelled like rotten meat, and they're like, nah, he's kind of chill though. The guy that he imprisoned with a hole in his brain, can't speak, runs to the police and be like, help, help, help. And they're like, you lost, buddy? What do you want? Dahmer would fucking like, come on. Like, you could get away with so many shit back then. Like, I genuinely believe if you wanted someone dead in the like 80s or 90s, you probably could get away with it, especially a drive-by. You just go in a car, probably a stolen one, you shoot the person and you drive away. Nobody sees you, cool. You're done. Ted Bundy was from my state. Oh my fucking god, I forgot about Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy is wild. Like, holy.
And icy.
Just
This
wanna
requires confidence
eat
and
real
sure
quick.
footing, but it's not a grain that requires special equipment. Constantine's route, by comparison, is a 4, which usually indicates some steep rocky sections at an incline of more than 55 degrees. The plan is for the two groups to begin and end the multi-day hike together, with several days in between, in which the two groups will separate and hike their respective routes. So when the trail forks, the valley group will take the low road, the summit group will take the high road, and on August 5th, they'll meet back up at the designated lake. While it's still summer, weather up in the mountains can be fickle in Siberia, with snowfall beginning as early as late August. Anticipating this, Lyudmila contacted local weather monitoring stations ahead of time. They told her the worst she could expect is a mild chance of wind and rain. Nothing to be too concerned about. Well, except for this. They were given a stark, cryptic warning as they departed a nearby town for the mountains.
What the fuck does that mean?
Locals urged the
One of the locals were like, yo, you oughta be careful, dog. Lot of people get lost, young man.
hikers to be careful, as wildlife in the area was behaving strangely, aggressively. No one could explain why, but some
They're animals. They're hungry.
Animals insane. And most recently, bears in the area had been witnessed throwing themselves in front of trains. Lyudmila and Konstantine's groups arrive at the
Like, okay, yeah, no, I'm sure that the like bear got the press and he's like, I want to end it all. Jumps in front of a train and not like, oh, what's that? A light? I'm gonna bark at it.
fork in the trail. Lyudmila does a quick head count of her 6 students: Sasha, Denis, Timur, Victoria, Tatiana, and Valentina. They're all here, all ready to go. The groups say goodbye for now and part ways. Following her map, Lyudmila guides her summit group along a river through a nearby pass. Before long, their group is walking uphill at a steady pace, through the trees and into the mountains. So far, the weather is favorable, warm summer air. Lyudmila's relieved that the weather forecast remains accurate, as there are some inexperienced hikers in her group. Lyudmila, aware that her group must keep up their strength, insists that they eat 4 times a day, including snacks during rest stops. She knows that some people think of her as hardened, a survivalist drill sergeant for her students, pushing them to their limits. But in her own mind, the safety of her hikers is always her first concern. They're making good time and are able to summit the first ridge ahead of schedule. Even the least experienced hikers, the 24-year-old Tatiana and the 16-year-old Victoria, manage to keep up. For both of them, it's their first grade 3 hike, a major milestone of any aspiring mountaineer. For now, The summit group is riding high, but they know a lot more terrain awaits them over the coming days. And something else awaits them, something they can't possibly know about, because they're miles.
Slender Man. I'm sorry.
The winds and weather forecasts for Kamar Daban are shifting, and it's clear it's for the worse. August.
So what? Just they went on a hike. They're not experienced. The weather got bad. They got lost.
Days into the hike,
Something ate them. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Confidence starts to wane. The group reaches a treeless alpine zone, and here their fortunes turn. The weather sours. Heavy rain and wind whips and tears at the 7 hikers. Visibility is poor, and the temperature is dropping rapidly. Their progress slows to a crawl. Lyudmila clutches onto her map like a lifeline, making sure that they stay on the proper path. One of the worst things that can happen in these conditions is to stray off course and get lost. Lyudmila knows her students won't make the ridge before nightfall, and so she barks orders through the raging wind, instructing the group to make camp. The students spring to action and begin setting up their tents in an open, flat area about 2 miles above the tree line. It's exposed, but Lyudmila reasons that they had better play it safe and not push themselves. She urges her students to forage before it gets too dark. Keeping their strength up is important, and there's no telling how long they're going to need to wait out the storm. The group manages to find deposits of golden root in the area, and they hurriedly gather as much as they can. It's rich in minerals and nutrients, a perfect supplement to their cache of supplies. Once camp is set up, they cluster into 2 tents for the night, one for the boys and one for the girls. Lyudmila hunkers down with Tatiana, Victoria, and Valentina, trying their best to stay warm. Outside, the temperature plummets and the rain turns to snow. Lyudmila does her best not to show it, but she's concerned. This isn't where they were supposed to camp for the night. It's too exposed. Also, for days, she's been growing increasingly concerned that her map of the area is inaccurate.
Did I fucking call it? Hold on.
There's no wind or snow, and they all get arrested.
Did I? Sorry.
Trying their best. There would be a start. Her map of the area.
Kind of skipped through. My bad. I think I genuinely called it.
Known as Peak.
Like,
there would be a sturdy structure and firewood waiting for them.
The map is inaccurate. They just probably got lost. So because of the weather and the fact that they had to wait for like camp somewhere, supplies got low and shit, went south.
Can't tell how close they are to it. She decides that it isn't worth the gamble to try and reach a wooden structure that may or may not actually be where her map claims it is. As of
Why
now,
not just
the
turn
students
around?
are shivering, but otherwise seem in good spirits. Lyudmila's concern is growing. If the storm goes on for much longer, things could turn sour very, very quickly. But even still, she puts on a brave face for her students. Bad idea. Turn around.
Don't put on a brave face. Turn around.
Yes,
hey guys, let's go back to school. I don't know.
It's her confidence and experience that gives courage to even the least experienced hiker, even if it's all for show. Meanwhile, far below, Constantine's Valley Group is having a perfectly pleasant time. At their lower elevation, there's no wind or snow, and they all get a restful night's sleep in relative comfort. On August 5th, they arrive at Lake Padavoy, right on schedule. The small lake is the agreed-upon rendezvous point where Constantine's Valley Group and Lyudmila's Summit Group are to link back up. But there was no sign of the Summit Group when Constantine arrives. So he tells his students to unshoulder their packs and to relax a while. They can wait. One of the members of this party is Natalia Korovina.
Yeah, no,
Lyudmila's
we
16-year-old daughter. She takes off her backpack and helps
we
the
got
others
that.
set up their tents.
You mentioned her name
She
like
isn't
7
concerned about
times.
her mother's tardiness. She understands better than anyone that Lyudmila is a cautious person. Plus, the summit group has several inexperienced teenagers. She'd want to make sure her group is safe before moving on. When they're finished setting up the tents, she starts to wander along the lake shore, looking up at the Kamar Daban Mountains. From the lake, she doesn't have a direct view of where her mother would be, but she notices something strange about the trees in the distance. They aren't standing upright, but are at an angle, like they've been smoothed over by an enormous comb. Combined with some scattered clouds around the peaks, she assumes that means there are pockets of bad weather.
Yeah, clearly she didn't care about their safety that much. Like, she doesn't sound all that careful. You have like 20 fucking kids with you, unexperienced high schoolers in like the middle of a storm. You camp it out because it's that bad, and you're like, nah, let's keep going. No, turn around, turn around, turn around.
The high altitude. Lyudmila and her students might be getting
Wind
some
knocked them
rain and
down,
wind,
probably, yeah.
which is concerning, but nothing she hasn't handled before. Suddenly, however, Natalia stops in her tracks. A set of eyes are staring out at her from the foliage nearby, unblinking. It's a moose. Natalia's mouth falls open and she wants to call the other hikers, but she doesn't. Mooses always steer clear of hikers, but for some reason, this one isn't intimidated by their presence at all. In fact, there's an almost aggressive air to its posture. It's an unsettling encounter, and that's when she remembers what the people in town told her about the bears in the area. Something isn't right, and the animals can feel it. Slowly, she backs away. The moose boldly stands its ground. Natalia returns to her group and tries to put the moose out of her mind. She reminds herself that animals sometimes behave strangely, just like people do. She'll have to remember to tell her mother about this.
Evil moose.
A day passes, then another. The mood begins to shift, and concern sets in. There's a chance that the summit group isn't even on the mountain at all. Maybe when the weather got bad, they retraced their steps and went back out the way they hiked in. Or perhaps they hustled down to the rendezvous point early and continued on before the valley group arrived. But then again, maybe not. The uncertainty of it all weighs heavily on them, especially Natalia. On the second night, she dreams about
Thing
her
is,
mother.
right? This story is cool and all, but it's unreliable as shit. You know why? Just based on the fact that there's 20 of them, only one survivor. She has a bloody jacket. She could be saying anything. Like, she could be like, oh, you know, there was this crazy old man in the forest. He shot them all and ate them. You know, and they'd be like, oh, damn, shit. I'm glad he survived.
In this dream,
If you want some creepy, interesting stories, I can recommend some. If they're like not creepypastas, I'm down. I like when they're somewhat real, right? It's like it's a real story, but there's speculative to it, you know?
Lyudmila speaks directly to her, telling her that she can't get off the mountain.
You can send them over Discord. There's a channel for links. I'll check them out.
Natalia wakes in shock and has difficulty sleeping the rest of the night. Thoughts and fears about her mother's safety keep her awake. She tries to tell herself that she's just being silly, that her mother's group is so late simply because Lyudmila is being cautious about the weather. But after 48 hours, these excuses ring more and more hollow. At breakfast, she tells Constantine about her dream. She pleads with him to go back up the mountain and search. It is a grade 3 hike after all, and they don't need special gear. Constantine is sympathetic to her concerns, but reminds her that they only have enough supplies for their full trek. They don't want to double back in search of Lyudmila, only to run out of food and put their own hikers at risk. He's reassuring, firm, a good leader like her mother, and so she accepts his reasoning. They're skilled hikers, sure, but they're not a professional search and rescue team. Soon after, they reach their final.
They're high schoolers. High schoolers. Oh my god. They are a group between 16 and 20-year-olds. What the fuck are you guys doing? Turn around. Turn around.
Destination.
Not a professional? I'm so shocked. It's like, it's a teacher that likes going outdoors and another teacher that sometimes goes out for stretching and a group of fucking kids. What are you doing?
A small town on the shores of the enormous Lake Baikal. But a cloud hangs over their arrival because there's no sign of Lyudmila's group here either. Natalia is beside herself now. They came together. The two groups were supposed to leave together. Lyudmila even has train tickets for the whole group. Natalia doesn't know what to do. She's always looked up to her mother for strength, confidence, and this uncertain danger has no easy solution. Constantine's eyes return to the high peaks looming in the distance. He begins to fear that he's made a terrible decision that'll haunt him for the rest of his life. What on earth, he wonders, is happening up on the mountain? The night of August 4th. On the peak, Lyudmila and her students aren't getting any sleep.
Oh my god, they go to the peak.
In the early morning hours,
It's
one
the
of
name of the
students
game.
from the boys' tent trudges over to Lyudmila's tent. It's Sasha, an inexperienced 23-year-old hiker.
You don't have to mention that he's inexperienced. Of course he is.
He's like a surrogate son to Lyudmila. He tells her that the boys are uncomfortable. The wind and the cold are too much to bear. At this elevation, there's no tree cover, no protection from the storm. Their tents are no match for the relentless wind. At 4 a.m, the tethers snap.
Ooh.
Everyone scrambles out.
Ooh, that's
into the
bad.
cold, struggling to resecure their shelters.
Wait, this is really bad. Oh my god. They're gonna freeze to death. Uh-oh. Oh god.
Seeps into the tents, soaking through the sleeping bags. It's a miserable, punishing night. Finally, at dawn, Lyudmila tells them it's time to go. They must descend immediately.
I'm sorry. Wait, hold on.
Night. Finally, at dawn, Lyudmila tells.
At dawn? These guys don't have a fucking tent in an elevator area with hella wind, and you're like, you're fine. You're fine. What are we doing?
It's time to go.
Oh my
They must
god.
descend immediately.
Oh my god.
After a quick breakfast of canned stew, the group begins hiking back down the mountain to the south. While they're still roughly following their planned route, they've abandoned any attempt to summit the peak and instead seek protection from the severe weather 2.5 miles below where there's tree cover. The heavy winds continue, making it difficult to progress. Visibility is dismal. Then suddenly, at about 11 a.m., Sasha falls down.
I wonder why.
The other hikers help him to his feet, but soon he collapses again.
I
He's
wonder
starting to
why.
fall behind. Lyudmila hangs back to help him.
Maybe, just hear me out. You might have trench foot because of the cold and sitting in one position for too long in the cold.
Telling the other hikers to go ahead, she and Sasha will catch up. The 5 other students comply, grabbing onto
literally
each other to
frostbite.
stabilize themselves against the wind. Like a phalanx of Roman soldiers, they make their way slowly and deliberately down the mountain. They're making progress, and the tree line is beginning to feel achievable. But soon, they hear Lyudmila's voice shouting from behind them. She's screaming for help.
Help!
Leading the phalanx, 17-year-old Valentina rushes back to help their leader. She arrives to find Lyudmila crouched by Sasha's body, despondent. The young man who had been complaining of cold mere hours before isn't moving.
Are we surprised? Are we surprised? Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm actually gonna crash out. This is rage bait. This is genuinely rage bait. You're getting an unexperienced fucking high schooler to hike up, and then their fucking tent breaks down, and you're like, you know what? You can wait till morning. You know, like, are we that ass? Are we that ass? This is rage bait.
Valentina looks closer, and she sees that his eyes are vacant, staring off into the distance. Sasha is dead.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry to hear, but
overcome with
I'm
shock,
not surprised.
Valentina is momentarily unable to speak or breathe. It feels like she's stumbled into a nightmare. But the nightmare is only beginning, because a moment later, Lyudmila collapses as well. The other students see her go down, and panic sweeps through the group like a wildfire. The phalanx breaks. Valentina looks on in terror as chaos breaks out. Everyone is screaming, flailing, but not because they're afraid. They're all in pain. Valentina's fellow students are bleeding from their ears, eyes, and noses. They're foaming at the mouth. This doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense.
Does it not?
A couple of them are tearing at their clothes frantically, madly. Valentina has never seen anything like it. And suddenly, to her shock, more of them begin to collapse to the ground, one by one. Valentina tries to pull Victoria.
Wait, what did they feed them in the beginning? Fuck, what was it? Golden root? Wait. Is it that? Wait. Hold on. They die yet? I mean, some of them. Wait. Possible bad effects of golden root. It's generally safe for short term up to 12 weeks. May cause dizziness, headache, insomnia, dry mouth, increased saliva. Is generally safe. Bleeding from the ears and foaming at the mouth. I mean, bleeding from the ears could be from the cold. Foaming at the mouth? That's not from cold. Or at least not this early on. You know? Someone poisoned them? Wait, you're right. I thought you'd be bleeding. No, there is cases. Like when, in some instances, if you don't have enough, like, what was it? I don't know what the fuck it's called. I might be talking out my ass, but I've heard like a story of someone that just like started bleeding out the mouth, not at the mouth. Yeah, at the mouth and at the ears because of cold. I thought something called golden root would be healing. I mean, it's also used for healing, right? Oh wait, it may worsen anxiety, trigger manic episodes and bipolar disorder, or interfere with blood pressure. This is bad. This is bad. In cold and hiking, this is bad. Real bad. If you get too cold, you get frostbite, but your organs start shutting down. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, shit.
Only for the girl.
It's like naming a nuclear missile Hello Kitty Dream House. Kuromi's Boom Boom.
Rapidly bites Valentina's hand. She tries again, pulling the convulsing girl down the mountain with her. They're only able to make it a few more steps before Victoria fights free again, but she doesn't go far. She falls to the ground and stops moving. Valentina keeps going. Maybe if she makes it to a nearby cluster of rocks, maybe then she'll be safe from this madness.
No.
But when she nears the rocks, she halts, stopped in her tracks by yet another terrifying sight.
Is it another moose?
One of the other girls, Tatiana, is already at the rocks and is bashing her own head against them over and over again. A curtain of blood obscures her face from view. Tatiana keeps smashing her head into these rocks until
I'm
eventually
sorry?
she stops moving.
Wait, what the fuck? Wait, wait, what the fuck? What the fuck causes that? Wait, hold on. Maybe this is where it gets interesting. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, no, there is something going on here that isn't super normal. Till now, I was like, oh, it's just a bad hike. But this is weird.
Valentina is frozen, paralyzed by complete
You're meant to punch trees. You can't mine stone with your hand.
shock and panic. In the span of minutes, and with zero warning,
Might be like
her entire
rabies.
group has dropped
Ooh,
dead.
maybe, yeah.
Suddenly, a hand shoves Valentina.
Rabies from the moose? But wait, no, the moose didn't attack them though. So how? Wait, can he get rabies even if you don't have contact with them? Wait, hold on. This might be, how do you contract rabies? When saliva or neural tissue from an infected mammal enters the human body, almost exclusively through bites or less commonly scratches. It can also be transmitted if infectious material contracts mucous members, so like eye, nose, or mouth, on or open wounds. The virus, if, however, not spread by blood, urine, or feces. That doesn't make sense though. I mean, they didn't get bitten or anything. Or rabies takes a while to incubate. True. It wouldn't take 48 hours for sure. And rabies wouldn't make you bash your head.
Her out of
True.
stupor. Someone is still alive. It's one of the boys, Dennis. He's on his hands and knees, bleeding from the ears and mouth. Yet he's able to muster up enough energy to give her one single command. Run. This shocks Valentina into action. She bolts downhill, making for the tree line. Behind her, Dennis tries to crawl after her, but he has no strength. She glances over her shoulder to make sure he's following, yet he isn't. He's lying face flat in the snow, completely immobile. By now, it's just Valentina. Overcome with fear and a burning desire to survive, she advances downhill through the swirling wind and blinding snow, stumbling, crawling, before, at last, she finally reaches the tree line and a shelter from the wind. She digs a sleeping bag out of her backpack and crawls inside. She huddles into a ball for warmth before she passes out.
It wouldn't be radiation? It's 1993, right? Wait. In Siberia. Wait, hold on. Did any bombs go off near or in Siberia in the 90s? Industrial mining, coal mines explosions, 91 incidents, 15 methane explosions were recorded in Russian coal mines. That wouldn't cause radiation though. Nuclear testing? Could be it? I don't know. When did the SALT nuclear agreement happen? Good fucking point. When did the SALT nuclear agreement? 1972. Yeah? I mean, I don't know. Same bombs is too specific. Yeah. Could Siberia have sources of radiation in the 90s? Significant sources of radiations in the 1990s, stemming from both Cold War era. Oh, right. Right, the Cold War. Fuck. God damn it. That was that took me a little bit too long to come up with. Also, radiation would take months. Yeah. Nuclear facilities and reprocessing in Siberia, chemical combine in Seversk continued to operate with a serious incident in 1993 involving a tank explosion. Okay. I don't know. Let's just watch the video. I don't know.
A day later, the weather subsides. Valentina wakes up on August 6th and it's quiet. No screams, no howling wind. Just the gentle rustling of trees and the drip, drip.
Thing is that
drip
radiation
of the
will just give you
melting snow.
cancer. Boy, where the fuck did you get that? Radiation, if it's bad enough, could literally make you collapse on the spot. Like, it could insta-kill you, one-shot you. What are you on about? It would genuinely melt your skin off, yeah. Oh my god. Like, have you not? Okay, one show that I highly recommend you to watch to prove that point is Chernobyl. The like this film. Wait, no, not this one, not this one. The Netflix one. What's it called? Netflix. What's the series called? Well, this one. Oh, it's HBO original. Never mind. Wait, hold on. Isn't it just Chernobyl? Yeah. Nobel. Netflix clip of dying. Like, hold on. Where is that guy? I mean, after the explosion, right? Where is it that the guy just starts? Oh, whatever. Well, this guy fucking. Where is it? Gotta skip through it so I don't get copyrighted. Where's the guy? Where's the guy? Where's the guy? Hold on. Hold. It was in the thumbnail. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Look, this guy. Like, his skin is literally melting off. And that happened, like, instantly while he was working. Because, like, the thing went off and then he just collapsed. Anyways, let's just watch. Let's see what happens.
The sun is out. Even though she slept for almost 24 hours, she doesn't feel rested. The horrific sights from the day before are clear in her mind's eye. She wishes that she could dismiss it as a nightmare, something caused by a lack of sleep or exhaustion, but she knows the truth. She can't kid herself. She's alone. Valentina slowly starts to trudge back up the mountain. She's gotta see her fellow hikers.
Fuck did I just read? Funny thing is that in Sweden, Chernobyl radiation got sent here. And if you cross a map of where the radiation landed and a map of top porn categories, that the places with the most radiation, like furry porn the most. Yeah, Vlad.
Needs to have some sense of what happened. Before too long, the bodies come into sight. A cluster of 4 of them by the rocks, and 2 farther up the slope. They're all still and silent. Steeling herself, Valentina walks from body to body. She can't do anything for them now besides close their eyes. She passes Tatiana, the 24-year-old secretary, the one who smashed her face into the rocks not long ago. She passes the small body of Timur, who was only 15 years old. He was the youngest of the group. Victoria was also there. Valentina couldn't help but feel some kinship with the other girl. Only a year younger than her, she had been so eager to hike that she had her parents persuade Lyudmila to let her
Okay, but
join
why
them,
does she go
even
back?
though she was an inexperienced hiker. It breaks her heart to see Dennis, the boy who saved her, lying on the slope. If he hadn't told her to run, she might have died there as well. Once she's close, Valentina does her best to cover the bodies with one of the tents. She gathers whatever supplies she can from their packs, Lyudmila's map and a compass. But as it turns out, the map and compass are of little use because Valentina is lost. The snowdrifts make it impossible to follow the path that Lyudmila planned for them. They were less than halfway through the 40-kilometer route, and Valentina doesn't want to risk hiking over the snowy peak alone. Instead, she decides to head back down in the general direction their group climbed up, a more reasonable altitude as soon as possible. As she continues her descent, a promising sight greets her eyes. Thin cables running above the treetops, the nearby peak of the mountain. Making her choice, she continues walking, her eye on the power lines, trusting that they'll show her a way to safety. After all, when there's power, there's bound to be civilization. Even though it's entirely downhill, it's an arduous journey. Her supplies wear thin fast. She eats a dried golden root.
You're the third
foraged by the
streamer
girl
I called a
several days
fanboy.
before. It's rich in minerals and keeps her going.
Well,
Her home
I'll take
feels
that. Top 3.
impossibly far away in these desolate mountains. Yet one thought pushes Valentina forward. The thought of her home back in Kazakhstan. The thought of her family who had trusted Lyudmila to bring their
Okay,
little Valia.
I fuck with you,
never
but
stopping. She treks for 4 days, growing delirious.
wait. Hold on. So they go for this fuck ass hike for 4 days, and then they all die, but her, and she still tracks for 4 more days. How is she alive? 8 days? 8 days hike. She kills them? Has to be, right?
She travels from tower to tower, pausing to catch her breath, but never stopping.
Like this story
She treks
feels
for 4
bullshit.
days, growing delirious.
There's
One
holes.
fortunate
There's
night,
holes. There's
she
plot
finds
holes.
a winter hut unlocked. She collapses inside, grateful for the shelter. But she's on her feet the next day, determined not to die alone in the mountains. She doesn't notice when she catches a cold, but
Yeah,
she
because
can
then
feel a fever.
wait, hold on. If she doesn't fucking eat them or kill them, why when she's found there's blood all over her jacket, right? That does not track. There's something going on here, sir. I don't know. I don't know.
Eating away at her and has to pause every so often to allow herself to
Yummy in my
At
tummy.
lower altitude, there is less snow. But aside from the cabin, she hasn't seen any civilization, not a town or even an outpost. Because of this, doubts begin to eat away at her. Perhaps she should have tried to retrace her group's footsteps instead, back to the town they started out from. Finally, Valentina reaches a river. This gives her some hope. Many of the rivers in the area flow from Lake Baikal, which is where they started their trip. She follows the rocky shore, heading upstream in hopes that someone will see her. And eventually, by the grace of God, someone does.
They probably must be so fucking freaked out. Like, imagine you see this fucking girl, right, in the 1993, right? Bloody jacket, probably looks like shit. She's been hiking for four days alone and 4 more days with a group, right? Like, it must be fucking terrifying.
On August 9th,
RV, hi, welcome in.
tourists from Ukraine cross her path. One of the tourists,
From
Alexander
Ukraine.
Kudinitsky, sees her and swims to her side. Valentina has done the impossible. She survived.
Okay, there's 10 more minutes to the story. Something
When
has
she's
to be.
rescued, She's incoherent and is only able to give local police a scattered account of what happened. Nevertheless, while Valentina is sent home to her family, a search effort's mounted to find the bodies of her companions. And what rescuers find defies explanation, even to this day.
All I'm saying is if I'm alone walking and I see a girl covered in blood, I'm running and screaming like a girl. Yup. Yup. Same. What the fuck? I'm doing a quick 180 and not turning back. Hello? What the hell?
August 24th, 1993. Helicopters fly over the peak of the Kamar Daban mountain range. They've been searching for weeks, trying to locate the missing group of hikers from Kazakhstan. Finally, someone sees something and the helicopters descend. They found the summit group's final campsite, and with this, the bodies. The snow around the peak has melted, revealing a gruesome sight. After 19 days of exposure to the elements, their bodies are in poor condition. The tent that Valentina draped over them couldn't prevent them from rotting. None of the bodies have eyes, and worms writhe in their empty sockets.
Wait, I'm sorry. What the fuck do they mean by none of the bodies have eyes? Huh? Wait. Wait, what?
from rotting. None melted, revealing a gruesome sight. After 19 days of exposure to the elements, their bodies are in poor condition. The tent that Valentina draped over them couldn't prevent them from rotting. None of the bodies have eyes.
For a second, I heard it could prevent them from rotting. That must be horrifying. Isn't it the story about the Dyatlov Pass? Is it? Wait. No. 1993, 7 hikers set out to the Kamar Daban mountain range. Fuck, who knows where the fuck that is, but it's in Siberia.
And worms writhe in
It
their
is?
empty sockets. With increased
Is that like another
visibility
name
on
to
the
it?
mountain, rescuers are able to see that the hikers died only a few hundred feet short of
Your
hiking
bodies
speed.
are drawn like cave
A wooden
paintings.
tower
Wild.
is indeed there, which would have protected them against the elements far better than a flimsy tent on the side of a mountain. Why Lyudmila hadn't fought to get there safely puzzles the search party, even as they gather the unfortunate victims. More puzzling is the fact that they find only a single can of stew by the campsite. Nothing else, no
It's known
other
for
food,
people going crazy
not
there and
even a
dying.
candy bar wrapper.
Well, it's kind of
this evidence
on
that
point.
seems to indicate that this group was underfed and needlessly exposed to the elements.
But like, why?
They zip up the bodies in bags and load them onto the helicopter. The smell is unbearable as they take them back to be autopsied.
Okay.
The bodies are found to be protein deficient and
Okay.
malnourished. The leader of the
Sure.
search party, Yuri Golias, has seen enough. The can of stew, the hazardous placement of their campsite. To him, it's no mystery what happened to these kids on the mountain. And
Okay.
he knows exactly who to blame. Lyudmila herself.
Fucking knew it! I knew it. It's either the fucking golden root, it's either the golden root or like there's no way there's something in that fuck ass forest that magically makes them go batshit crazy. There's no way. What the fuck is going on? Okay, hold on.
And has long believed that
Hold,
she
chat,
mistreated
hold.
her students. Based on his previous encounters with her, Yuri
Okay.
claims that she often pushed her teenage students to their limits, including underfeeding them and not providing them with proper clothing for the elements. In Yuri's mind, there's no doubt that Lyudmila's poor leadership contributed to the deaths of the group at Kamar Daban.
Really?
Even further, he claimed that he wouldn't put it past Lyudmila to choose a poor campsite in order to, quote, toughen her students up. But even still, not everyone agrees with Yuri's assertion.
Fuck you mean? The boys' tent literally broke down in the middle of night, windy, snowy, in a elevated space with no cover. And she's like, you boys will be fine till tomorrow morning. Like, what do you mean?
Valentina,
Yeah, just sleep it off. Come on, tough guy.
after years of silence in the wake of this horrific event, spoke out in support of
Every time I
Lyudmila
join, something
Korovina.
strange is going on
She
here.
claims that
True.
the summit group was well fed and cared for throughout the hike, and that Lyudmila knew that they were hikers of varying experience, and so she planned for a diet of 2,400 calories a day. The official cause of death for the 5 students is listed as hypothermia. As for Lyudmila herself, it's believed that she died of a heart attack upon seeing Sasha die before her eyes. But the details of the event itself defy such an easy conclusion.
No,
For instance,
no, fuck off.
why was Valentina able to survive if all of them were in the same state of malnutrition?
Cause she a bad bitch. That's
How was
why.
she, a
Okay, I'm sorry.
17-year-old girl, able to outlast an experienced mountaineer and her own peers? And most of all, why did their deaths happen so suddenly and within such close proximity? Satisfactory answers, unfortunately, remain elusive. However, as it stands, the facts are these. 6 healthy individuals died very suddenly in close proximity to each other. All of them displayed strange, unexplained symptoms in their final
Oh, is this
moments
not a
that included
closed
self-harm,
mystery?
bleeding
No,
from the
please.
ears, eyes, or throat. and sudden, debilitating pain. All of these details come from Valentina herself.
Yeah, the bleeding and head bashing are weird.
Like a horror movie. Now, hypothermia could explain some of the symptoms Valentina noticed, such as the attempts to frantically disrobe. This is a phenomenon known as paradoxical undressing. In extreme cold weather, a person's blood vessels constrict to save heat. As hypothermia sets in, the constriction of these blood vessels fails, causing warm blood to flood back into the extremities, making someone feel like they're overheating, even as they literally freeze to death. People in this state frequently tear off items of clothing, only hastening their own demise. But smashing your own head into rocks, sudden, inexplicable bleeding, neither of these are symptoms of hypothermia, nor should they be contagious in the way that they seem to be among Lyudmila's group. Another theory is that these hikers suffered from altitude sickness, which can trigger any number of—
Oh my god. Oh my god. I forgot that that could be a thing. Chat, we're so fucking dumb. They're literally going on a hike. We ruled out the fucking altitude sickness completely. All at the same time though? No way. I mean, maybe it's just like, okay, but how fast is that though? Real fast. Like really fast. As in like, depending on how high it is, it's like, okay, think of like this. Altitude sickness, from what I understand, is kind of like if you're too high, but not extremely too high, you're fine for like a little bit of time, right? Like if you're really high up for like a couple of hours, you're fine, right? But if you stay there for too long, like days on end, you would have the same issues as being like fucking Mount Everest kind of high, right? You trekked for 4 days though. I mean, like, you don't have to do altitude too quickly. I don't understand what's going on. I think I missed most important things of the video. Chat. Chat, someone that has a lot of fast fingers and wants to explain it. Do the Google Docu. Come on, chop. They added slow acclimation to it, hiking over 4 days. Yeah. So like, it's plausible for sure.
Adverse effects in the human body. Among these can be pulmonary edema, a buildup of fluid in the lungs, which can trigger heart palpitations and bloody coughing. Perhaps it could have been something they ate or drank. The strange behavior that Valentina witnessed could have been caused by a poisonous plant that the others had consumed and she had fortunately avoided. Or perhaps contaminated water was the culprit.
Sorry.
Lake Baikal is known for high levels of contamination, and if hikers filled their water bottles from one of its rivers, they could have poisoned themselves.
Whoa, wait, hold on.
The strange behavior that Valentina witnessed could have been caused by a poisonous plant that the others had consumed and she had fortunately avoided. Or perhaps contaminated water was the culprit. Lake Baikal is known for high levels of contamination, and if hikers filled their water bottles from one of its rivers, they could have poisoned themselves without even knowing it.
Okay.
In the pursuit of truth, curious researchers have turned away from the direct events of the hike and towards increasingly elaborate conspiracy theories. The most dramatic of these is that these hikers were unwitting participants in a Russian weapons test. Victims of some nerve agent that got unleashed under the cover of the storm.
I'm sorry. Wait, what? Wait.
Levels of contamination. Hikers researchers have turned away from the direct events of the hike and towards increasingly elaborate conspiracy theories. The most dramatic of these is that these hikers were unwitting participants in a Russian weapons test. Victims of some nerve agent that got unleashed under the cover of the storm.
I don't know.
Chemicals, for instance, were developed in the late stages of the Cold War by the Soviet Union. Phosphorus-based and designed to be undetectable, they cause disorientation as well as foaming at the mouth and can be administered in aerosol form.
Wait, actually, no, it is not unlikely.
Slightly outlandish theory assumes that the sudden hysteria and death among the group was caused by infrasound. The term infrasound
that I don't buy.
Low-level frequencies that can occur naturally, emitted by geophysical phenomena. These sounds, while not audible to the human ear, can be felt by the cochlea in the inner ear. Discomfort.
That I
In
do
certain
not
extreme
buy.
conditions, infrasound has been known to cause sudden sickness and even death. At certain frequencies, it's theorized that
It has to be
sounds
chemical
could cause the
something,
internal
for
organs
sure.
of someone to vibrate, causing internal damage.
I think low-key, either it's a nerve agent, which very unlikely. Or like you said earlier, it could be a buildup of everything at once, right? Like the fact that it was the altitude, they were malnourished, the hike was too long, they were cold, right? Maybe they drank from like some fuck-ass lake that had bad contamination, because apparently it's known for that. You know, it could be like a plethora of stuff. Because like the first people that died were not too surprising. Like the first one literally was the guy that complained about the cold and he kept falling down after like a whole night of being in the cold, right? Like sure, plausible. So like him shutting down and dying, that's understandable. Just hypothermia. The girl seeing that guy die probably just had a fucking heart attack, right? Because like she literally froze watching it and then collapsed as well, you know? Remember, this is in the 90s, so you cannot have sound stuff? What do you mean by that? You mean nerve agents were in a thing in the 90s with infrasound? Yeah, but infrasound, okay, oh my god. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Infrasound is not only intentional, made by human. Infrasound is a thing in nature as well. It's just I called it unlikely because there's so few events that we know of in which it happened, or in which we found out that like, oh, this area sometimes has infrasound, you know, leaking from its fucking mountains. Like it could have, but it's so unlikely, you know?
But even still, what could have caused these sounds? Why would they have affected only 6 of the 7 hikers? Every single theory inevitably
6, 7, okay, I'm sorry.
runs up against the central question of this entire incident. How did Valentina survive? When a journalist asks her how she managed to live when the others didn't, her
What
answer
caused the
is simple.
sounds?
She was in very good physical condition.
I
She
mean,
lived on a farm her whole life
be like a
and was used to
whole-
high altitude.
Okay, as an example, I think I remember a while ago reading a Reddit story, like a creepypasta, but then it just got debunked for it being an infrasound. And like in that case, it was like a falling rock that then fell, and the sound of it traveled through the wind between mountains, and because of the weird pitch in which it crossed, someone heard it and just fucking collapsed and died, you know?
And strenuous exercise. But this description could apply to any one of the hikers present. Even the youngest member of the group, 15-year-old Timur, was an experienced outdoorsman. The only hiker with questionable experience was the 16-year-old.
Yeah, it is the
Victoria,
dumbest
who
thing
had
you've ever
previously
heard.
suffered from fatigue
True.
on easy hikes. There just has to be something missing, some detail that got lost in the noise of Valentina's trauma and the punishing weather. But if there is a key that helps us understand what happened at Kamar Daban, it seems, unfortunately, to have been irretrievably lost.
Okay.
Like the dead, the mountain keeps its secrets. And
Yeah.
if there's one thing to take away from all of this, their campsite will forever hold
No,
a
don't leave
mystery.
me on a cliffhanger. Nexpo, don't. Nexpo, don't. Oh, you bitch. Oh, you bitch. Oh, you bitch.
With Nexpo is created and hosted by me, Nexpo.
You
Executive
bitch.
produced by me.
Ooh. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
And we are back. Thank you guys so much for listening to and well.
No,
watching
no, please
the
don't do
first
this to
episode
me.
of Late Nights with Nexpo. Again, so much love and passion has gone into this project, and I'm ecstatic to bring you guys weekly mysteries to chew on while you await the next big boy upload on my channel. Again, nothing about this podcast in any capacity replaces anything you know and love about my content.
Don't do
2
this.
episodes out.
Ah! No! 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 I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up. No! Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.